Hi, I'm Dr. Lisa Price, licensed naturopathic doctor specializing in complementary care with an expertise in culinary nutrition during and after cancer treatment. I'm also an NIH fellow, a biochemist, co-author of a book called Cooking Through Cancer Treatment Through Recovery, which was published in 2015 by Demos Health Publishing Incorporated. The book's doing great. It's helped at least 36,000 people, which is fantastic. My Facebook page is devoted to articles and recipes and information on culinary nutrition during and after cancer treatment. For the last several weeks, I've been posting on, presenting a series on survivorship during cancer treatment and beyond. This encompasses three main holistic topics, which include nutrition, exercise, and also emotional well-being. Let's back up for 1 second, though, and define what survivorship is and why it's so important. In 2005, a body called the Council on Cancer, made up of American medical surgeons who also credential various cancer centers, recognized that there was a need for survivorship programs, i.e., programs after cancer. And this need came from the fact that there were more people living with cancer and living a good, well life after cancer, and also there were more people entering into remission. So it was very, very important that there were assessment plans that were made and that were followed, and there were also wellness plans that were made and followed. And the wellness plans incorporated exercise, nutrition, and also attention to emotional well-being. And so this is where this concept of survivorship plans and programs came. And so in 2005, the Council on Cancer suggested that for each cancer care program that they credentialed, that they implement these programs. Nowadays, very progressive cancer centers are implementing these wraparound services, which include survivorship plans, and for good reason. Survivorship plans are very important, and they only strengthen cancer programs and also enhance cancer patients' lives, including their families' lives as well. So survivorship can also be implemented during treatment as well, and it should be. So is survivorship really needed, and how does it promote remission and wellness? Okay, let's take a couple of examples. So the first example is during chemotherapy. We all know that chemotherapy is big medicine. It can cause damage to tissues, and it can cause long-lasting nutrient deficiencies, and it does, unless they are remediated with people doing something with attention to them. So some of the long-term effects there's even second cancers that can be created from the use of chemotherapy. And this is a concern, of course, to the healthcare consumer. Yeah. So and as I said before, if one finishes chemotherapy, they're going to be nutrient deficient. And so all of these things can be addressed through cancer survivorship programs. Nutrient deficiencies can be ameliorated, side effects can be ameliorated, the chance of second cancer developing also can be decreased by doing and partaking in these plans. Okay. Second example is with breast cancer, estrogen-sensitive breast cancer. Many women who are diagnosed with estrogen-sensitive breast cancer are then placed on hormone therapies. And these hormone therapies can throw them into chemical menopause. Chemical menopause decreases the amount of estrogen, which protects the bones and the heart. And so survivorship plans, particularly through exercise plans like weight-bearing exercise plans, can reduce the bone loss. Therefore, women decrease their risk of entering into osteoporosis, as well as maintain heart healthiness. So these are the type of things that survivorship plans can do. But we need to know what the specifics of survivorship plans are, especially if you're in areas where the cancer centers do not have these programs up and running just yet. So I've already posted about survivorship plans during surgery and chemotherapy. So check that out. Those are not videos. Those are things. I've written a short article on both of those. Today I'm discussing and addressing survivorship during radiation treatment. And our aspect today will be nutrition. And we'll speak about exercise and emotional well-being during radiation at a later time. So what is radiation and when is it used and why is it used? Radiation is usually used either post-surgery, once the solid tumor is taken out, or if the tumor is in a hard location to get. So for example, if it's in bone or in the brain, you may have radiation. And so what does it do? Radiation works by applying high energy particles directed at tissues that have that either where the tumor was, or as I said before, the tumor is, and the radiation is trying to kill those tissues. And so the radiation causes an immediate damage to those tissues, and also a cascade of damage by producing things called free radicals or reactive oxygen species. This chain reaction causes a lot of damage in tissues, including the DNA of cells. And we're hoping that the DNA of the tumor cells are the ones that are most affected, right? So, and when the DNA is damaged, then the cell dies because it cannot reproduce itself. So this is what radiation does and how it works. During radiation, the most frequent side effect is fatigue, and depending on where the radiation has been applied, for example, with head and neck cancers, there can be a lot of other side effects that are associated with pain, not just fatigue, and also some weight loss as well because of swallowing or problems with the tongue, etc. But it's mostly side effects is fatigue. And radiation therapy can also cause immunosuppression or the suppression of bone marrow. And of course, as I said before, damage of tissues. So we also see that with the damage of tissues, we get an increased amount of protein turnover and therefore protein need. And of course, the body is working hard and metabolizing hard to repair. So we also get some specific nutrients that are needed for repair of tissues and skin cells, etc. So let's see, nutrition during radiation can be gotten by culinary means, which is a very safe way, especially if you're doing it safely and soundly, is a safe way in a sound, as I said before, way to get your nutrients. And I just want to throw in a note that supplements or antioxidants during chemotherapy can be controversial because in theory, because they clean up the mess, they can also decrease the effectiveness of chemotherapy. And therefore, many oncologists, many radiologists that I work with are a little bit hesitant, not a little bit hesitant, they tell people not to use them in supplemental form. However, in culinary forms, you're getting a small amount of these nutrients, which is still very helpful because you always remember that you have thousands of more normal and healthy cells than you do cancer cells. And you need to keep those healthy, including one of the most important, some of the most important cells are your immune cells to keep healthy. So some of the nutrients that are important during radiation include the omega-3 fatty acids. These can be found in fatty fish like salmon, halibut, and herring, chia seeds, hemp seeds, nuts and seeds, pumpkin seeds, for example. Protein, as I said before, plant-based proteins are recommended by the National Cancer Institute over an animal-based uh, protein or diet. And that doesn't mean necessarily vegetarian, but what it does mean is that we use meat as condiment and we use lean meat, very lean meat. And so the suggestion as for plant-based proteins include nuts, seeds, beans, lentils, etc. Um, and I will say that if you do choose meat, try to choose organic, free range, and game meat is very, very, it's almost medicinal if you're going to use. So these are the game meat, elk and buffalo and even duck. Vitamin E containing foods include spinach and almonds, sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds. Foods containing the nutrient glutathione, like asparagus, cumin spice, onion, peppers. Vitamin D containing foods are fish, and get this is fantastic. Um, for any of my patients, they know me, portobello mushrooms and chanterelle mushrooms. I'm crazy about mushrooms. Mushrooms are fantastic. The medicinal wild mushrooms are fantastic. These do contain some amounts of vitamin D3. The fish in the skin, that's where most of the vitamin D3 is found. Flavonoid-containing foods, including your broccoli, your okra, your red peppers, all these things contain a good amount of flavonoids. Soluble fibers are always, always, always fantastic for your gut. And as I said before, is that we're also trying to ameliorate some of the issues that came with chemotherapy too. And the soluble fibers are very wonderful at helping with the epithelial cells along the gut, as well as the organisms along the gut. So we have to tend to the soil of our guts rather than just trying to gentrify our guts with the probiotics that we put down. And then L-glutamine containing foods, including cabbage and cousin of cabbage. I shouldn't say a cousin, but maybe offspring of cabbage, which is sauerkraut, which is also very good for soluble fibers. Remember to keep simple sugars low. In that the American Medical Association and the American Dietetic Association recommend no more than 25 milligrams of simple sugars per day. And that's the refined stuff, cake, cookies, candy, ice cream, that kind of stuff. Not so much fruit and vegetables that come with fiber. These simple sugars tend to zap your energy, so that's why I'm including this note on keeping the simple sugars low. And remember, rely on whole foods rather than processed foods. They will never let you down. Other things that I just wanted to mention are, because I love food and I love talking about food with regards to cancer treatments and therapies. Some of my favorite dishes during radiation include, one is chili paste salmon. It's salmon cooked over a bed of fennel and coconut milk with a chili paste glaze smothered in cilantro. Really, really quick, fast, and easy, but super nutritional with lots of nutrients and a lot of lean protein that's associated with it. For vegetarian folks, I do have to put my plug in for mushrooms here. Is stuffed portobello with chanterelle and nut-based savory stuffing. So both of those are fantastic recipes, and stay tuned for my next either video or text on survivorship during radiation, and we'll talk about exercise during specific exercises during radiation and the type and what they do, how they benefit. So hopefully this was beneficial for you. One more note is that, as I said before changing your diet, making changes in your diet, consult your physician or your healthcare provider or your nutritionist to make sure that these changes are helpful for you and not harmful. Okay? And until next time, be inspired to be well. Thanks for listening. And if you have any comments or questions, just post them in Facebook responses. Take care and until next time. Bye-bye.